Thank you for staying tuned to Fireworks. In the last half hour, I've been talking with the National Legal Advisor of the All Progressives Congress and a Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Dr. Muiz Banire. And we've been looking at the just concluded local government elections in Lagos and, of course, matters arising. Now, let's pick up from where we stopped. Since you insist that there was a primary that was boycotted that saw the emergence of the former governor of Lagos State as the candidate of the former S.A.N at that time, do you deny that in a number of states of the Federation, all is not well with the All Progressives Congress? And why has that been, a pattern of politicking within the fold?
It's not our fault. It's not peculiar to APC. It's just generalized and it's normal in party politics. There must be wrangling, there must be conflict. It's nothing unusual, nothing unusual.
So what role have party leaders played, for instance now, you're the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, to resolve some of these issues?
Of course, we do a lot of it, otherwise the party will have by now collapsed. It's because of the fact that we address a lot of all these issues promptly and in a timely fashion that you've not seen the collapse of the party. And again, we have some other structures that deal with this kind of a thing. We have a national caucus, and shortly, hopefully, we have what is called the advisory council that is replacing the BOT of the party that will deal with all these issues. But beyond that, also, from time to time, we set up reconciliation committee that goes to state with such crisis. So it's just normal.
So what are the costs that have come as a result of these internal wranglings?
There's not anybody can do about that. Let me confess to you, from my own experience in party policy, you can't help that one. There must always be conflict because interests are bound to conflict from time to time. It's the ability to manage it that makes a party safe.
Let's look at the Senate presidency seat. Do you consider that a great cost of the internal wranglings of the party? Many disagreements.
We were just taking off when that one occurred. We're just even taking off then. And again, as you can see now, progressively, it's settling. So it's normal. It's nothing unusual.
So how will it affect, subsequent elections?
I do not see it affecting it in any manner whatsoever because we continue to put our house in order from time to time.
Now, back to your alleged suspension. You say that it's a misrepresentation of what really should be, and if they knew the Constitution, those who carried it out would have reconsidered. But really, if that was the case, would you now require the party at the national level to nullify your suspension?
In fact, you do not even require it. They didn't nullify anything. They only told them that to the extent that what was purportedly done was not in consonance with the Constitution is a nullity. Simple. Which we do regularly. It's not peculiar to Lagos. In fact, that's an average of almost 3-4 per week that we deal with such like that people will just wake up in one local government and one word and say we suspend, we expel, which is usually a nullity. So we don't even bother ourselves. We ignore most of the time. At times when it's necessary, in order not to cause confusion, we now write to them to say, no, just ignore. This is the rightful person to continue to deal with. So it's nothing unusual. For example, it's just that what I've just found out is that a lot of people still need education about the content of our Constitution. For example, let me give you an example. Expulsion. It's only the National Convention of the party that can even expel anybody. No other person. So it will be a waste of time for everybody to expel. It's a complete waste of everybody's time.
Okay, still on the local government election, some stakeholders believe that it should henceforth now be the responsibility of INEC to conduct elections, that state electoral commissions are conducting shambolic elections, so to speak, especially because of the turnout of most of these local government elections in these states where you see the ruling party carrying the day, that it's an abuse of what democracy really should be. What are your thoughts?
I think there's already a proposal adopted by the National Assembly, not even some set of people. It's already adopted by the National Assembly. Honestly speaking, I subscribe to it.
What would be the implication of that for sitting governors who hold, wield extreme control on local
Let me
government
tell you
elections.
the way I remind their excellencies regularly at our meetings is that there is no governor that will stay there forever, till eternity. No. The best you can be there for will be 8 years. So it's always better for us to support whatever that is right and good and constitutional, so that by the time we exit through, we have some form of security. It's as simple as that. Nobody can ever be in one place forever.
Speaking of which, would you like to specify which particular governor you're talking about?
No, I say there are excellencies. There are so many. You know, as legal advisor, it's not only Lagos that have had issues with. I've had issues with some other states. For example, I remember a particular state in which somebody was disqualified because he was a man for the purpose of the election. There is no provision like that in our constitution to say you disqualify somebody because this man is a man. No. So the matter went to court. And when they went to the aggrieved person went to court, I went to court to say, yes, sorry, in our own party constitution, there is nothing like that. But when the governor contacted me, I explained to him to say, Your Excellency, you've done the wrong thing. There's no provision like that. You could have found on other basis for disqualified, but you can't. You couldn't have done that on gender basis. The only way out now is to go and appeal to the aggrieved person, find a way of reconciling, which we eventually did. So there are so many. There is another state where they had the local, quite recently, you call it, that we had something similar to non-compliance. And I wrote a letter to the state chairman. He brought it to the attention of the governor. The governor called me and I explained to him just the same manner I've just said. And the governor said, okay, I understand now. We reconfigure. And they did. So it's not peculiar to any governor or any state. It's a general thing. Because you see, the truth of the matter is that we must continuously have respect of the rule of law. That's my position. It's as simple as that. If you do not, you see, the only option to rule of law, like I always tell people, is rule of man. And what that one implies is tyranny. So for me, all of us must continuously embrace rule of law, regardless of who we are or where we are. And I believe that it's one of the fundamental problems of the entire country. Because there are so many big men in Nigeria as a whole, a lot of big men believing that they are above the law.
Did the sitting government adhere with the rule of law in the run-up to the local government election? I'm talking specifically, did it comply with the law in conducting local government election in Lagos State as at when it was supposed to?
The rule of law, you know, in this regard, there are so many aspects of it depending on the one you want. If you are looking at LASEC law, for example, to the extent that there was composition of the LASEC, to the extent of the various steps taken by LASEC, which ordinarily, and I believe, must be independent of the state, which is the responsibility of LASEC. So you will say all that the state owes is put in place LASEC, which was put in place before the election. Simple.
Perhaps I should be more specific.
Yeah.
The tenure of local government chairmen in Lagos State before this 2017 election expired during the tenure of former Governor Babatunde Fashola.
Yes.
3-year tenure. But local government elections were not conducted until about 4 years later in 2017. So where was the rule of law in the action of those
now
governors?
that you are specific.
And
now,
there are governors within your party.
No, now that you are specific, I've heard this position. I've even written a memo to that effect that it is illegal, it is unconstitutional, it is not right. And I'm saying so again, I'm repeating so. The Supreme Court has duplicated the practice up till the case of, I think, Fayemi and Ekiti State, something, I can't remember the citation correctly now, but up to the case decided on Ekiti recently, that look, none of those, either administrator, executive secretary, caretaker, all those things are totally unconstitutional. So for that, because Section 7 of the Constitution is clear, it said local government must be run by democratically elected officials. So once they are not democratically elected, then it becomes unconstitutional. So your party is guilty of? Some of our people are guilty, but we are encouraging ourselves every day. In fact, with all sorts of humility, I would say I triggered the process about 1.5 years ago when I wrote the first memo generally, and I copied virtually everybody that there is a need for our state, particularly APC state, to embark on the conduct of local government elections.
So because of your legalistic disposition towards the Constitution and what should be done, the way it should be done in line with the law, some say you are towing the line of activism, which is a departure from politics, and so you may lose out from all of this.
I don't know what they mean by losing out. As National Legal Advisor of this party, I earn nothing, either by way of salary or allowance. Rather, I spend my earned money on the party. The essence is to engender good governance. When there is good governance, all of us gain. That is the reality. But on the other hand, I agree to a large extent that I will find it difficult to continue to survive within the political arena because my ideas seem to be a bit radical.
In this just concluded election,
yes,
specifically in the primary that was conducted, you never had a candidate for Mushin local government area.
How can I have candidate for what? You see, in a serious crime.
But an organization that claimed to represent you said that some candidates were not allowed access. Some delegates were not allowed access to the voting arena. I'm glad you used the word
claim to. Well, I am not contested. What do I need
United Action.
United Action for Change is the totally non-political movement.
But they represent you.
No,
the organization represents you.
No. Listen, I'm a member. I'm in fact, indeed, I'm the convener. And what we do, we have PDP members there, we have APC members there, we have, in fact, half of the members there are activists. They are not in any political party. They have a totally different agenda from any politics. They are only, be it PDP, be it Saraki issue, be it Magu issue, they dabble into things that they believe that they need to dabble into in order to enhance the society. That's all. They are not political. It doesn't concern them. We don't have any candidate.
But as far as the reconducted primary in Mushin local government area was concerned, that organization represented your interests in calling that primary
maybe they
sham.
Go and look at it. I'm sure that you didn't watch them well.
Because they complained that the primary conducted denied access to original delegates to come in and vote.
We complain about anything that is improper. We complain about anything that, not necessarily that one alone. We complain about anything that is improper, we complain.
But your candidate did not win that primary.
Number one, let me even tell you, if you want to hear, there was no primary. I can tell you for free, there was no primary. I am saying so without fear of contradiction as the legal advisor of this party. If the chiefs are down, I will analyze it to you legally to show you clearly that
so
there
you
was
don't
no
recognize the candidate that emerged from the reconducted primary?
There was no primary, no reconducted. There was none. I'm telling you, that one I can tell you without fear of contradiction that there was none.
But there was a court action that nullified the first primary that was conducted.
In fact, primary could not have even taken place at that time. Go and look at the LASEC program. It couldn't. It couldn't have even taken place by the LASEC program. I've done several cases for the party at the Court of Appeal on issues bordering or identical with this situation.
Okay, so what is the status of the election that held on July 22 that saw the emergence of the candidates that won the election in that local government area?
That is sub judice already.
Okay, but so what are your thoughts about the developmental strides of this current government in Lagos?
He's doing his own best. He's doing his best. It's as simple as that.
Are you saying this because efforts of reapproachment are on to settle the internal rifts within the party?
Let me tell you, we always have different perspectives of issues. I will give you, for example, I was coming this afternoon with somebody on top Mainland Bridge at Orochoke. I saw some reclamation going on. And I said, I don't know what they are trying to do here, but if it's the terminal they are trying to do for this water transportation and car park, I said, this will be wonderful. This will be great. For example, if my thought is correct or coincide with that, then of course I have every cause to praise him. For example, there are some that I will disagree. I will give you an example. Just very close here now, Chonibara, in front of Chonibara here, the green there, the green that we put there before was displaced for a concrete. And I disagree with that one. That is a bad approach. The same thing, if you go that decoration, the statue that they just put at Maryland, is not safety how do I say, compliant. You don't put that at an intersection. You don't put it at an intersection. So there are some things that I would disagree with. There are some that I would praise. So it happens like that.
You said he is doing his own best.
Yes.
But he's not doing the best that you would like to see.
No, there are areas of improvement.
Okay.
I believe there are areas of improvement.
Finally, what will be your last words for the All Progressives Congress as it plans and prepares for the 2019 general election?
Well, it's to believe in ourselves first. When I say ourselves, our manifesto, and adhere to the party constitution as much as possible, because that's the only way we can eliminate friction within the party. As
an addendum, please tell us your thoughts on the recent clamor for local government autonomy.
Again, I totally support local government autonomy. I want to see a situation where a professor will go and contest in the local government, believing that he has that autonomy to experiment his ideas. I want to see a situation where a minister will descend from his office and say, I want to go and serve my immediate neighborhood and become chairman because he has the freedom. But if you do not have that freedom, you have an idea in your brain, but somebody somewhere is saying, you can't do this. No, realize that they also have their own legislature. They have their legislature. They have their full complement. Let's give them an opportunity.
That's how it's been on Fireworks today. I'm sure you've gotten further insight as to the disposition of the National Legal Advisor of the All Progressives Congress towards some of the issues that arose from the just concluded local government election, and of course other matters relating to development, especially at the grassroots level. I urge you to join me again same time next week when I bring you another interesting edition of the program. I am Bukola Samuel Wemimo. Bye for now. Thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure.